Hi guys, I'm excited for this particular tutorial. It was suggested by one of my subscribers who suggested I animate a laptop within Davinci Resolve, which is a 3D model animating an actual 3D model moving the parts within Davinci Resolve. It's pretty simple to do, but the trick is in finding a model, an FBX model, where the lead and the keyboard is separated so you can swing the hinge when it flies in. There's a link below. You can download and follow along with me on this tutorial. This is a fun one. Let's do it! Here you have the download. I unzipped it. So you have these two folders in here. The source is the FBX file, and these are the textures. I'm going to pull this in, drag it to the media pool, and let's minimize. Let's go to the edit page, and under effects, let's bring in the Fusion comp. Create a timeline, put the playhead on it, and let's go to the Fusion page. Let's pull the media out to the side. Typically, you could actually just go to the folder we just went to. If we go to laptop, if I go to source, I could just pull this in, but it comes as a single element. If you drag it to the viewer, let's make it a single viewer. Let me zoom out by holding the middle mouse button and the left mouse button, and if I drag to the left, I zoom out. You see there's no texture on it, and there's no way to put texture on it right now. I'm going to delete this. This is not how you bring it in. You're going to go to Fusion. Under Fusion, go to Import, then FBX Syn. Then we navigate to the folder, go to the FBX and open it, and just click OK. So you see all the components broken into the component nodes. So you have the frame, which is the keyboard and all, then the screen, the lead part. If I drag this to the viewer, it becomes red because these textures are not okay. So I can delete this too, and I'm bringing in the textures I have in the media pool, these textures. So you see this laptop frame here. I'm going to bring this one in. I'm going to right click on this, drop this on this computer frame, and connect it to specular color material. I'm going to go to texture, drag that in, connect this to the diffuse color material. So it's coming together already. Then this laptop screen EMI gloss, right click, drop that and connect that to specular color material. Then this texture, drag that in, right click, drop it here and connect this to the diffuse color material. So we have the laptop here, and I can rotate around it, and we have a sweet laptop. Now I need to be able to move this hinge independent of the keyboard. So I'm going to click on this screen, shift space bar, transform 3D, this, click on add. Now I'm going to go to under inspector panel for transform 3D, expand pivot, then for the Y value, I'm going to type 0.63. You can just copy these values. Then I'm going to type 10.307 minus 10.307. And you will see now if I rotate this, it closes perfectly. Like so. If I do 90 degrees, see, it's perfect. Let's double click and open it back. Now we're going to do an animation. I want it to, from frame 10, I go to transform. From frame 10, I want it to be at angle 15. Sorry, minus 15. Let's even say minus 25. It's wider. Let's keyframe that. Let's go to frame 115 and set this to 75. So it's kind of almost closed, but not quite there. Open the spline editor by clicking on this. Click on X rotation. Click on this to zone to fit. Click on this to select all the keyframes, and press this to smooth all the keyframes. But I'll press T on the keyboard and increase ease into 80 or thereabout. Doesn't have to be exact value, but around 80. So if we play this back, you'll see this close smoothly. Or you see that the screen currently is blank. Let's correct that. I'm going to drag this forward. I'm going to bring in a wallpaper. We have this wallpaper. And I'm going to connect that to an image plane. Connect this to this image plane. Drag this to the viewer. It's pretty small, so I'm just going to go to the image plane under the transform tab under inspector, set this to 30.5. So I'm going to bring in a merge 3D node, put that in here, and connect this to the merge 3D node. So the merge 3D node is in between screen and the transform we created. Let's just arrange this properly, like so. And then you'll see that we have this. Let's now drag this merge 3D to the viewer. We need to move this image plane up and here. So I'm just going to go to the image plane, go to the transform tab and increase the Y value. So it's just about the right height. Then I'm going to move it backwards like so. Let me hold down the middle mouse button and the right mouse button and drag to the right. The middle mouse button and the left mouse button to zoom in. Middle mouse button to drag it down. I'm just going to go here and move it up just a bit. So it kind of fits in. Then I move it back a bit more so it enters the frame like so. But you'll see that if I click out here, you see it's sticking out on the edges here. So to correct that, I'll just do a hack, bring in a rectangle mask node, connect that to the media in tool. So it crops it, but I need to increase the width and height. Then I'll just gradually reduce the width so it doesn't stick out. So we have a perfect thing here. So if you play this back now, you'll see that we have the screen perfectly aligned like so. Great. The next thing we need to do now, one other thing we need to do that I just did, but not necessary, but let's go to computer frame. I can go to specular. I increase the intensity to 1. I go to this to the computer screen. I also increase the intensity to 1 just to make it a little shinier when the light shines on it. Now I need to connect this to a renderer 3D. I now need to bring a camera 3D node and connect that to this merge 3D. I want to now animate the camera movement. If I drag the renderer 3D to the viewer here, you'll see that it's just displaying nothing because I've not set the camera yet. Now to set the camera, this is what I'm going to do. Drag merge 3D to the viewer. Right click on this, go to guides and click on show guides. This lets me see exactly where on the screen this will show. So I know how to position this laptop. So I want to turn this around by holding our middle mouse button and the right mouse button like so. To zoom in, I can hold the left mouse button and the middle mouse button to zoom in. Drag it to the side a bit like so. Let me tilt it down a bit, zoom in a bit more. Tilt it down a bit so we have something like this. We zoom in a bit more so we have something like this. Now that we've set this, I just right click on this, go to camera, copy POV to camera 3D. I now go to camera 3D to the transform. You see the points have already been copied there, but I want this animation to start from this point. So this is, I'm going to go to frame 10, then keyframe this. Then I'm going to go to like 10 frames before this 115 that we set before, like frame 105. And I'm going to move this back a whole lot like so, turn it around, and zoom out a bit like so. So I'm looking at the framing here to make sure it's framed properly. And I think this is perfect like so. And I right click on this again. I go to camera, copy POV to camera. So we have the keyframes automatically created. So I open the spline editor, zoom to fit, select all the keyframes, smoothen it out, and for the easiness, set it to 80, like so, and close the spline editor. If I go to Renderer 3D, I can click on Renderer 3D and pick Hardware Renderer. If I play it back, you'll see we have some sweet animation going here, like so. Guys. All right, moving on. Let's not dwell on that too long. Now I need to bring in some lights, just add a little jazz to this. I'm going to bring in Emerge 3D. Then I'm going to press Shift Spacebar, bring in a directional light, and add that and connect this here. For this directional light, I go to Transform, set the rotation to -30 across board. Oops. Okay. Then I bring in, let's bring in a spotlight. Connect that to here. And for this spotlight under controls, I increase the cone angle to 90. Let's drag this merge to the viewer so we see where the light is at. And for this light, I'll go to Transform and click on Use Target. I'll drag this light up, push it to the side, pull it back a bit, push it down there a bit, and just push it up a bit more, like so. Pan, let's see where it is at. Okay, that looks okay. Let's just put it down a little bit. Cool. So I'm just going to copy this light, copy it, then paste it. I'll still connect the same light here, but I'm going to move this one now to the side. Move it to the side. Let's move it in a little bit. Then for this one, I want it to be linear and I do not want it to cast a shadow. For the first spotlight, I'll go to Controls, the very first one. I go to Shadows. I make sure Shadows is enabled. Then I set the softness to variable fast. Also, you'll notice that here, when the thing closes, let me go to Renderer. Let's just drag Renderer to the viewer so you see what I'm talking about. If I enable lighting and shadows, see the screen is dark. So I need to put one light here to shine on the screen. So I'm going to go here, bring in a spotlight, connect that here. Let's go to the viewer. So you see this is the spotlight. So I can move it back. Let me increase the cone angle. Move it back a whole lot more. We just turn it around to see. And I just go to Transform and I tilt it up a little bit, move it up a bit, then tilt it up a little bit. Move it up a bit more. So if I go to Renderer 3D, you see the screen is showing. Now for this spotlight, I don't also want the shadows to show. So I'm just going to go to Shadows and disable shadows. So I have only one point that is driving the shadows. If we play this back now for Renderer 3D, see we have this and bam. Beautiful stuff. Now to the text. Let's bring in a text plus node. Let's just type anything. In this particular instance, I type maple. Let me set the size to 0.22. Let's drag this to the viewer. We have this going. I want to position it somewhere here. In fact, let me just bring in a merge 3D node and connect this renderer to the foreground and this text. Let's just connect to the background. So I want to see it positioned correctly. Let's go to the end frame. So we need to move the text up a little bit. So I'm going to move it up by dragging that up just like so. I think that's perfect. So we can disconnect this while we work on the text. Now for this text, now I want to bring in my bevel tool. I've released a new version of the bevel tool. The link is in the description below. You can download it and use it for this tutorial. Go to Effects and go to Templates. Under Templates, go to Edit, Effects, MR. You'll see MR Bevel V2. Drag that here, connect this here, and we have this text here. Now for this text, now we need to do a little adjustment. Go to Shadings, click on Gradients. And for this particular dark shade, we don't want it to be this dark, so I'm just going to go here, click on this dark shade of gray, and the white, we don't want it to be so white, so I'm just going to drag it down somewhere here, so it's kind of just subtle, but I want the angle to be a little different for the gradient. So I'm just going to go to the mapping angle. I'm going to make sure that this is for the full word. So big words like this. So I want it to be like this, something like that. So we want to wipe it in. So I'm going to bring in a rectangle mask node. I'm going to bring in a matte control node. Now for this rectangle mask, I want to turn it to be sideways, something like so. And I want it to be like on top of the text. I want to make it the height to be something like this. So you can make your height maybe like 0.85. Let's make the width something like 0.75. So I'm going to go to frame 70 and keyframe this and drag it off the screen diagonally like so. So it sits somewhere here. Then I'm going to go to frame 100. I'm going to drag it down so it reveals the text. It's kind of centered on the text like so. Now I'm going to right click on this, connect that to this matte control node, to the garbage matte, connect this macro tool to the matte control node, and we drag this to the viewer. We go to the matte control node, expand garbage matte, click invert. So we have this. If we play this back from frame 70 that we set, you see it just has this sharp edge. I don't like the sharp edge, so I'm going to go to the rectangle mask, go to the soft edge, set this to 0.1. So if we go here and play it back, we have this. Let's just go here and smoothen the animation a little bit. Go to Spline Editor, zoom to fit, select all the nodes, and press the smooth button. And that's it, we're done with that. So play back, we have, but you notice that at the beginning here, a bit of the text is still showing. So I'm just going to go to this, go to the first keyframe and move this up. So it's completely off. Then go to the last keyframe and make sure that everything is fine. And everything looks to be fine there. I'm going to bring in a background node. I'm going to make a copy of this rectangle mask. Copy. Then I'm going to paste an instance of it. This background node, I want it to be white. And I want to bring in a transform node here. Connect this to this transform node and connect this transform node to this background node. Now for this instance of the rectangle mask, I'm going to de-instance the height. Click on this to de-instance it. And for this one, I'm just going to reduce the height to something like so. Like so. Yeah. Let's just say 0.25. Then I'm going to use this transform to move it towards the edge of that. So how do I see what I'm working on? So I'm just going to go to, let's bring in a background node. I just want to use this to see where the position is. I'm going to connect this rectangle mask to this background node. I'm going to bring in a merge node and put this as the background and put this as the foreground. So I drag this to the viewer. So I want to see that this thing is at the actual edge of it. So I'm going to transform and move this transform so it's just at the edge of it. Cool stuff. So I can delete all of this. It's just to set it correctly. Now we go to this and we bring in, let me move this here, move this down a bit, and bring in a math control node. I'm going to connect this to the math control node, and then this text, right click on it, drop it on this math control node and connect it to garbage math. Click on this, expand garbage math, invert it, and then we now drag this and drop it on this one so it creates a merge node. So this is on the foreground and this is at the background. If you click and drag this here and we play this from frame 70, you'll see what we've done. See that white thing, that white shimmer thing. Now it's moving too fast. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I'm going to move this downwards a bit more, and then between here and here, I'm going to bring in shift spacebar, bring in a time speed node. That one, like so. Connect this to the time speed node and connect the time speed node to the output here and bring that into the node tree. For the speed, I'm just going to drop this to 0.85. So if we go here, go to frame 60, let's just play from there. See, oh, it's kind of too slow. Yeah, it's too slow. So I'm just going to go to time speed and increase this to 0.9. And let's play that back. That's it. Cool. So we are done with the text. Let's merge everything together. I connect this to the background here, and then we have this. So if we play this back now, so we have this laptop rotating and we have the text appearing. Cool stuff. Now we need to give it a background. Bring a background node, a black one, bring another background node, make this one white. Then let's bring in an ellipse mask, connect the ellipse mask to the white background. So we have this, but I go to the ellipse and I increase the soft edge to the highest. Let's type 0.5 here. And then we now bring in a merge node, connect this to the foreground of the merge and connect this to the background of the merge. So we have this sweet looking gradient. Let's move all of this down here. And then we bring in a merge node. We connect this to the foreground. We connect this to the background. And then we bring a media out here and connect it. And guys, we're done. Let's drag the media out here. Let's right click on this, uncheck show guide so we have something clean, and let's play it back. Very simple stuff. So just to make sure we can view our job, what we've done so well, I can click on this, right click on it, change clip duration. Let's change this to 10 seconds. Should we go here and play it back? See, we have this playing without render cache smoothly. Beautiful stuff, guys, beautiful stuff, even if I say so myself. Thanks for watching. It was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. It's an extremely long one. I hope you watch it through and learn one or two things. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.